So as everyone knows, the purpose of meditation is to be able to take the serenity and the calm that we feel in meditation into our daily life. That is actually the entire fuel behind the fire of meditation. If we are unable to take this practice into our daily life, then we're pretty much wasting our time. And what happens when we commit to meditation, as we have on a particular day at a particular time, then mentally, vibrationally, in the frequencies of your body, we've made this time that's dedicated to meditation. And when we dedicate ourselves to anything, be it our children, be it our health, be it meditation in this case, the results start to flow into your life without a doubt, seamlessly. They start flowing in. The thing with meditation, though, is that these moments of integration between practice on the mat and the actual practice of living everyday daily life, these moments of integration with meditation, with a dedicated meditation practice, happen quite seamlessly to the point where they start to surprise you. And this reminds me of the time when I first started the parenting classes, and Camilla's here from back in the day. This is about 8-9 years ago when I first started these parenting classes, and everyone showed up. It was once a month. And sometimes we would do it twice a month, but every single person, this group of dedicated 7-8 people showed up for me, and I showed up for them. They asked me, it was their idea. This entire book that I've written and the parenting path that I'm traveling was not my idea. This was their idea. They pulled me into this and said, we want you to guide us. We want you to, to help us out. And I could see that there were a lot of struggles with parenting, just like I had with my own. And the point was that we dedicated ourselves. And when you dedicate yourself, then like drops in the ocean, they just add up. They fill your cup as life goes along. And Camilla will attest to it. And all of the ladies that committed to that will attest to it, that their road is not rocky anymore. It can be turbulent, but it never feels like you've hit a rock and this is a dead end. That's because dedication actually helps us integrate the principles that we're dedicated to, whatever that might be, into our daily life in a very natural, normal, and a very unbound way. So this week I had 2 shares from 2 different people, and one was my own son. He was having a struggle with something, and he shared with me how, he had this angst, and we talked about it, and he was upset about an issue. And even as we parted the discussion, we had Natasha, Navin, and I got on a phone call about it. Even as we parted the discussion, Navin was seemingly upset about it. And then, of course, even though they're your own children, you let them go and decide on their own, because, whatever age they might be, they need to figure life out on their own. And like 24 hours later, I had left Navin with this thought and this wish that you do what feels right to you, even though you're not agreeing with what I'm saying now, or we're not seeing eye to eye on this. That's okay. You do what feels right to you, because in the end, you have to be honorable to yourself first. And 24 hours later, I got a text from him saying, I made good with these people by doing this. And I told him, I know you're in the right. I know you are 1,000% in the right. But when it comes to family, you conduct yourself with the integrity where you can look back and feel good about what you did. That's all you can do. And so I asked him what he might contribute this shift to. I said, what happened? What made you shift like that? And he said, I think it was my meditation. And it really brought so much joy to my heart to hear that, because these integrations of what we learn on the mat and what we commit to in these practices, they start to show up in our daily lives. And now next, I'm going to share with Monica, and I tell you, this is such a joyful week for me with these examples. Monica texted me yesterday, and she said, "Hi, Didi, happy Saturday. I have a story to share. So yesterday was a very rough day at work for me. Your love kindness came to my heart immediately." Now, the love kindness is the loving kindness meditation that we've done, and the concept of equanimity and even-mindedness, all of these. And Monica, I see all of this in this example. So we had back-to-back patients scheduled for immunization. Monica's a pharmacist. And a man came in for his scheduled appointment for 4 p.m. My staff explained to him that it would be delayed by 20 minutes. The previous patient we had to monitor due to complications and dizziness, so we were running 20 minutes behind. Anyhow, after 20 minutes, we have to take a few minutes to clean, sanitize, COVID protocol, etc. And so he was delayed by 25 minutes. Man, was he pissed. I apologized, told him the reason, and he went off on me. He then flipped me off and then just started saying garbage. Anyways, I gifted him with a free flu shot, gave him a $25 gift card to Walmart, and normally I would have secretly flipped him off too in my head, but I remembered your voice of loving kindness, and I just wanted to share this with you.
Mm-hmm.
So Monica, thank you. Thank you for sharing this, because this has nothing to do with me. This has to do with your dedication to your practice. And yes, I show up here because I love each one of you. And Shadi is actually, Shadi's here too, right, Shadi?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Shadi's here too. Shadi can attest to this as well. She's a friend, a client, a daughter, close to my heart, and this has been since my journey with the book. And she too has found so much integration, and we've talked about this lately, after dedicating herself for so many years to understanding the meaning of mindfulness, the meaning of this being present in the present moment, and really paying attention with curiosity and with an open mind and with just a willingness to accept what has showed up. She too has attested to what a shift that has made in her life as well. So, and I know that each one of you have experienced this in your own way, but what we do with meditation is we build that reserve. We build that reserve in our body, so we don't go, if I may use Monica's example, that we don't feel the need to go to the flipping off in my head and that sort of response. We naturally, seamlessly, boundlessly integrate ourselves into this reserve that we have built with empathy, with compassion, and we've done so many different types of meditation. And really those heart practices that I talk about, Monica, in this example, all 4 heart practices showed up for you. The heart practice of gratitude, the heart practice of compassion, the heart practice of mudita, which is that empathetic joy where you can actually put yourself in the other person's shoes, and that heart practice of equanimity, most importantly, is maintaining an even mind. So with that, let's start our practice this morning. And I really feel that when we maintain this type of mind, because the mind is the same, whether we're sitting here in meditation or we're taking it into everyday life. The common denominator is the mind, and meditation is that integration. And our mind has a boundless, seamless capacity. It's as boundless as the sky. It's as endless, as infinite, as evenly colored as the sky, not the sky with the clouds, but the sky that's actually behind the clouds. So what I want to do with you guys today is, if I have your permission, we'll do a little sky practice so that we can keep cultivating our sky mind. we can keep cultivating our high mind and build these higher frequencies within our body. And when we build them in our body, we send them out, we share them. I can guarantee you that gentleman, when he walked away, or the person that Navin responded to when they walked away, they probably thought about what they had done and how they conducted themselves, and drew inspiration from the frequency that you put out, Monica. So let's start with a meditation here. And it's just 15 minutes that we sit together for those of you that are here for the first time. And we start with 2 deep breaths. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable, or you can open your eyes and just have a soft gaze at a certain point. Sometimes in the closing of eyes, we have emotions that come up, and that's okay. We can look at those emotions clearly with our eyes closed, or if the emotions are too strong, you can open your eyes, and that's the purpose of giving the option of closed or open eyes. So if you're sitting on a chair, feel your feet. Notice the weight of your feet on the ground, on Mother Earth that they're resting on. Let's move our awareness to our ankles, calves, knees, our thighs and hips. Stopping for a moment here on our sit bones, giving our sit bones the attention. That's where the spine starts, right above. So just dropping our weight at the sit bones deeply into the chairs or the sofa that we're sitting on. Releasing any tension from the area right above our sit bones. Softening our abdomen. Feeling the rise and fall of the abdomen with breath. Moving our awareness a little bit higher into the chest area. And noticing the expansion, the contraction of our heart space. And with a couple of breaths, staying in the heart space, grateful for the equanimity that we have all the capacity to build with meditation and with practice. Just watching, noticing the rise and the fall of our chest and our heart space. We can use our breath as an anchor, our breath at the abdomen, the movement of our breath in our heart space, or our breath at the tip of our nostrils in our inhale and an exhale. We can use our breath as an anchor, or we can use sounds as an anchor. So when our mind drifts, which is the natural state of the mind, we use our anchors to bring our attention, our awareness back into our bodies. With the next breath, let's release any tension in our shoulders, in our neck. Soften your eye sockets and gently release your jawbone. Really sinking into gravity, becoming one with gravity through your spine. Letting the spine be strong and straight, alert, while keeping the front of our bodies soft and supple. This speaks to the entryway into our own lives. May we be strong. May we have grit and resilience, and yet approach everything in life with softness and gentleness of heart and mind. When you're ready, bring to mind the image of a blue sky, perhaps one that you've experienced before, or one that you might be under right now. Just an imagination. Of the endless, boundless blue sky. Knowing that through this mind, we can make direct contact with life itself in a stable, infinite, boundless way, just like the sky. As we hold the image of the blue sky, notice any clouds that you might see. Light clouds or dense clouds, still clouds or moving clouds, whatever comes to your imagination. Just observe, just witness the clouds moving by. Being fully aware that you are the sky in your mind. You are the sky mind. And in this practice, you are simply witnessing the movement of the clouds. Know that the movement of the clouds is not very different than the movement of our thoughts and emotions within our minds. So if you have any thoughts or emotions coming through, just plant them in the clouds and allow them to drift by. Feeling, sensing, knowing that you are the sky mind. Let's sit with that practice for a few minutes, watching the clouds of our thoughts and emotions drift by while we maintain our awareness, our attention in our sky mind. As thoughts and emotions rise, we can easily maintain our awareness in our sky mind. We don't have to move with them. We don't have to jump on them. We don't have to attach ourselves because, as we know, in the sky, clouds just pass. They come and they go. Similarly, our thoughts come and they go. Our feelings come and they go. Observing this, the movement of the thought clouds and the feeling clouds from our sky mind, reminds us that we have the capacity to create a distance from them so we don't get consumed by them. Resting in breath, the mind gets clearer and clearer. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Wiggle your toes and your fingers at your own pace. Bringing your awareness back into the room. Take a deep breath or two to integrate the body into the present room and the mind into the present room. There is no substitute for regular practice, for only through real practice will we begin to taste unbrokenly the calm of the mind and be able to sustain the experience of it in our own everyday life. And this is the practice, sustaining it, bringing it, inviting it into the everyday life becomes really simple and seamless and natural when we sit like this together. So thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Sunday morning to all of you. My Sunday meditator.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Roma.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Have a lovely Sunday, all of you, and the rest of the week.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Thank you. Same to you, Rishu. Thank you, Roma. It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, everyone.
bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Roma Didi.
Thank
May I bother you, Roma Didi, to ask you to repeat something that you said? I
Please.
was enjoying it so much, and I ran to get my pen before we started the meditation, and I lost it. Before we started the meditation, you said that the mind, I believe you said something to the effect of the mind is the constant, and the meditation, and it just escaped me. It was before we started the meditation.
So what did you get out of it? And then we can break it open, because
so
sometimes I might not remember my own words, but we have a recording.
They were so profound.
The good thing is we have a recording, so we can always go back.
I can always go back. That's true. But you said something to the effect of your mind is the constant. And I think that just really stood out to me, because, we're so constantly in these practices, sometimes kind of negatively thinking of the mind, and we have to mind the mind and all those thoughts and sometimes there's fear associated with that, like, oh gosh, I have to cleanse my mind and manage it, right? And there's some truth to that, but what you said actually made me regard the mind as something positive, because there is positivity to it. We do use our mind and mentation to, for example, calculate something, and we use it all day. And so I just really, that stood out to me, because it was a positive way of regarding our mind.
I think she said something to the effect of the mind is the constant, and that is the mind's job, and then into something.
Yes, and then the meditation is, that's what I got. I wrote the mind is the constant, and the meditation is something. I'll listen.
The mind is the common denominator.
Yes.
The mind is the common denominator between your practice and your everyday life. Without the mind, we are nothing. We are not complete without the mind. So the mind is necessary. It's understanding the nature of the mind is the practice that we commit to. Is what is the nature of my mind? And each mind is different. We know 47.6% of the job of the mind is to move and travel and not be in the present moment. We know that. Science tells us that. For those of you that were in that Hello Mindfulness Part 1, we talked about that. And that is the nature of the mind. We don't ask our digestive tract to stop and correct itself. And, we do things to enhance it and to tilt it either way as the symptoms come up. Similarly, the job of the mind is the movement. It is the jumpiness. And what we want to do, because when we jump around too much, our bodies get physically exhausted. So what we want to do with meditation is help calm the body down by bringing the mind back in the body. That's the thing. We go like this, and we want to bring it back like this. So if this was the alignment, the mind spreads out like this, and we want to bring it back like this, aligned with the body. That's what we want to do. However, if we didn't use our mind, if we just think of our mind as a negative thing, if we think of our mind as something that is, constantly to be tamed, or something that we need to, like as Dipti said, in a negative way, then we put that pressure and that strain upon ourselves, which then makes the integration into day-to-day life harder. It's like trying to get along with somebody that you don't really like. It's exactly like that. It's an effort, it's hard work that this person is negative, but you've got to try to get along with them because they're a family member and you don't have a choice. And we've all have that in our lives. We all have that one person, two people in our lives. Think of how much it takes out of you to align yourself with that person because you know that it's in the best interest of your life, your peace. So if we come with that same attitude with our mind, we're fighting with ourselves. So we come to this mind as this God mind, this sky mind, this higher frequency. Our awareness is what it's the needle, it's the compass. Our awareness is what can actually help us either be in our mind or out of our mind, be mindful or be mindless. But the mind is the mind. The common word is the mind, right? Mindful, mindless. There's the common denominator. The common word is the mind. And we're not to fight against its true nature. We're just building our awareness so that we can help the mind come into the present moment when we want it to. That's what we're doing, because when we want it to run, when we have so many things on our list to do, when we have places to go and people to meet, we need that mind, or we won't be able to leave our door. So the mind is necessary, and it is not the necessary evil. Absolutely not. It is to be regarded just with the respect and the adulation that we have now in today's world with our emotions. That's how we should regard our mind, with the highest. I mean, it's the intellect. It's a huge part of how we make sense of the world around us. So yeah, just keeping that in mind. And Dipti, I'm so glad that you spotlighted that, because that's what helps with the integration. Because then you know that you have the choice, because I can either respond with my mindful mind or my mindless mind. And sometimes we respond with the mindless mind, and you take a step back and you say, oh, okay, that was mindless. Naming the thoughts, naming the emotions really helps create a distance. In the sky meditation, when we noted the movement of the clouds, when that is the movement of our thoughts and feelings, and we can be the sky looking at the movements of these thoughts and feelings in our mind. So our mind is that space, just like the sky, where the thoughts and feelings move through. And if we name them, if we say, oh, story, oh, past, oh, present, oh, future, going to my grandkids. That hasn't even happened yet. So, spending that time there, if we just name it with no judgment, with absolutely no judgment, with a willingness to accept what is, and then a curiosity, which is the very definition of mindfulness, right? And then a curiosity like, oh, wow, my mind tends to think a lot in the present. My mind tends to be a lot in the present, which is few of us. My mind thinks to be more in the past. My mind thinks to be more in the future. I'll be doing another class, soon. And I've talked about that, but hopefully in the next 60 days or so, as part of my curriculum, I'll be doing a class that is 4 weeks, where we'll break down. We'll just do the emotions one time. We'll just do the thoughts one time. And it's such a great way. Then we'll do the heart one time, where in each class you get a chance to learn didactically, thank you, good morning, what each of these very, very important elements of our existence within us are, and how we can respond to them and not react to them by naming. And there's so many great ways, there's so many great tools to do that. So Dipti, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Simi, for remembering the beginning part of that. I needed that to help jog my memory, but that was beautiful, Roma Didi. Thank you. I think, just again, it just highlights, that our mind is our tool. It can be a superpower. It's how we harness this very important aspect of ourselves.
Yes. Now remember, in this sky mind, it's the home, right? Mm-hmm. This is where thoughts live. This is where feelings live. And this is where our awareness lives. So the awareness is a tiny part of our mind. Mm-hmm. And this is what we're trying to shift is, we keep saying that, we need to bring the mind back, but it's actually the awareness that we need to train, right? To be aligned with our body. Our bodies are always present. They're always in this moment. We cannot have a physical form, a concrete body here and in Florida with Rishu. But my heart can be there. My mind can be there, right? So knowing that the job that we try to, or the intention that we have here with meditation is just to identify where our mind lives mostly. What kind of thoughts do we have? What kind of emotions do we have? Can I decrease the distance of the drift? Can I have it go from here to here to here to here? And then just keep it within this very pliable, flexible, comfortable zone that doesn't cause angst to my body. Because the further we move this mind away, the more angst our body's going to feel. Right? And that's in the negative, of course. Mm-hmm. So staying there with Monica, for example, with her, if we were to take this real life example of what she experienced, and she noticed stepping back that, wow, normally I would react like this, and being honest about it and saying, wow, this is a shift in me because I immediately tapped into my sky mind and knew that this is a thought, a feeling, a cloud passing by. And there's no need for me to enter the other person's. The problem is we have our own mind, our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own clouds. Then we decide to enter the others. Okay. And so this other person came in with their own mind, with their own thoughts, with their own feelings, with their own clouds, if you will, right? And then what do? We jump on their cloud. And we just start to have this exchange. And the closer we get to our emotions, the more in angst we are. The closer we then get to the other's emotions, the other's thoughts and opinions, the triple in angst we are. Because there's an energetic vibrational exchange.
It takes a lot of effort not to go to the other side too, Roma Didi.
So true. So true.
But the effort gets easier and easier with the practice. And the practice goes off the cushion into the everyday life with dedication. This is it. This is what you guys are doing. You don't need to do anything else, literally.
Yeah.
You can just do this and just know your anchor, right? So do this, and the anchor that we establish, whether it's the bottoms of your feet, the bottoms of your feet touching the ground, or breath, or here, the movement, contraction here, or abdomen, or sounds, whatever your preferred anchor is. Knowing that that's my anchor, that will prevent my ship from sinking.
Yeah.
And just turning to that in the moment. And it comes with practice. And it's really, honestly, once you build this muscle, it happens very seamlessly. How difficult was it for you, Monica, at that moment?
You know, I actually, like you said, I took a step back and I actually heard your voice in my head. That I needed to, I had to approach this angry man in a, you know, like with loving kindness, and just, I waved his, you know, he didn't want to hear my explanation. He didn't care about the other patient. He just wanted his appointment. And so I don't know what was going on in his day, you know. I mean,
how big was your shift? I'm not bothered about his day. We benefited. You contributed positively to his day, period.
Yeah.
Right? Period. Whether he's going to admit it or not, I mean, we can't really even walk that route and enter his mind. But what did that feel like in alignment inside your body? How quick was it? Did you first think, and then get to that?
It was very quick.
So then how are you telling me that this is hard and it's difficult?
Because when I have my staff telling me, you know, because they don't practice mindfulness and they're angry and they're dealing with their stress, and they're like, oh my God, he just flipped you off, and you're giving him a gift card and you're waiving his flu copay. And I'm like, it's okay. You know, we just need to make him happy. So I was doing my part, but then I have my staff that doesn't agree with me. So that's where I was kind of like, you know, like I had a little bit of a struggle. But then at the end,
was after, was not before. The struggle was from the outside, Monica. The struggle was not from the inside. Internally, you already made that decision.
Yeah.
Right? Internally, you did it. You went with your intuition, and you might call this, you heard my voice and my voice guided you to that, but my voice might have not just guided you to this, but my voice had you tap into your own reserve that came up within you.
Yeah.
To actually put it into action.
Yeah.
And you put it into action. When you put it into action, everybody said whatever on the outside. Doesn't matter. The action was done. And look, you share it. Look how much all of us are benefiting from it. So this is really the practice right here, taken, you know, from the cushion to the everyday life, into the integration.
Yeah.
And the difficult part is the outside, the other people. Inside here, if you cultivate this, it takes effort to cultivate it. No doubt about it, to show up. And to ask these questions afterwards. You know, this is when we explore, we unlayer together. So Dipti, thank you for this question. And Reshu, I know you're here for the first time, but we do this in and out, half an hour. Because Reshu's thinking, oh my God, if I'm to come at 11 o'clock at night and then stay up.
Listen, at any point when you start to do Sundays, you know I can be a part of it. Mondays it'll be yesterday, no tomorrow. So, well, anyway, we'll see when the time. You know.
So yeah, the idea is to ask a question and to raise that hand. Dipti, are you tired? Your hand is still raised. And to ask a question like Dipti asked, and then to have an example like Monica gave, because then this becomes real for us. This is not just something that we show up to. I'm very happy to show up for you guys, but if you're not getting any benefit from this in your real life, tell me so that we can all go on and do something else, right? On a Sunday morning or a Monday evening with our lives. This has to work for all of us. There's something here that makes us come back. There's something here that
you, Roma.
Want to be here.
It's you, Roma.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. And that this is what I said in my email. I'm honored, I'm humbled that I have you guys, that you feel this way, because the exchange is the same. I became a better parent as I taught about parenting. I become a better meditator as I take this responsibility on. I have to think about what I did last night when everybody was having tequila shots. You know, I had to dial back and say, oh, no, I have meditation in the morning, so that I can come feeling the way I want to feel inside to meditation on a Sunday morning instead of the Sunday morning bed tea, right? Because that's what I do Sunday morning. I meditate every day Sunday morning, I have tea in bed, but then I do my meditation afterwards at some point. So showing up here is for both of us, you know, for all of us together. So
where is birthday boy?
Bed tea.
Oh, lovely. Wish him a happy birthday.
I will.
Yeah.
You guys started celebrating last night?
Yes, my sister-in-law came over. She got COVID tested and she came over. She hadn't been here for a while. And then my other sister-in-law is coming today, so they get to see mom as well as, you know, wish Harish a happy birthday. And such a different time. Everybody's getting
so true.
over, you know, for mom, so that, yeah.
Yeah, normally it's your Jagran at this time.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Well, thank you all. Thank you so much.
I have a hard time picturing.